Well, that was a mess. I went down below and to get something, and I smelled diesel fuel. Hi, I'm Ron.
And I'm Marie.
10 years ago, we bought a broken down trawler for $4,000.
And nothing worked, not even the kitchen sink.
After a lot of hard work and help from our friends and family, we moved aboard Elixir full time. And now we are cruising this old boat while the work and fun continues.
So subscribe and give us a like and come along with us cruising this old boat.
So I lifted up the deck hatch to check, and sure enough, it was just spraying everywhere. Best I can figure is the fuel filter, which is a spin-on fuel filter. I'm talking about my secondary on the engine. It's one of the new spin-on fuel filters, and apparently it has vibrated loose over time. A new thing to put on my checklist every morning is to check that, make sure it's tight. But it vibrated loose, and so the fuel was just spewing out of it, and I mean, it was everywhere. We've probably got 2 to 3 gallons of diesel fuel down on the side of the stringer. Luckily, it wasn't into the bilge. It soaked underneath the engine. It sprayed all over my spare oil pad. So every one of my oil pads is ruined. Other than they did their job, they were soaking up the fuel. But now I don't have any oil pads if I need oil pads. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. And so anyway, we shut the engine off, and we're out in the Gulf, so you know, you immediately turn sideways to the waves and start rocking and rolling. And Marie was helping me. I took that fuel filter off, and we put it in a bucket until we can dispose of it. And I got a new fuel filter. She went and got me some fuel. We always carry a 5-gallon jerry can of diesel fuel in part for this kind of thing. So she poured some fuel into a little bucket, and so I could prime the new filter. And anyway, it was a little bit of an ordeal. We did get it all put together, and we are back underway again. I want to give a special thanks to the crew of Classy. Classy's a 41-foot defeaver that we anchored next to last night at Cedar Key, and we communicated some over the radio, and we both departed. They're going to Steenhatchee today. We're going to Steenhatchee today. So we departed at the same time. They're a little bit faster than us, so they were a little ways ahead of us when all this happened, but still in sight. We still had them on our AIS. And so we radioed them and let them know why we were going to suddenly fall back, because we had to shut the engine off. And they slowed down. And so they just kind of puttered, still heading towards Steenhatchee, but trying to stay within range of us in case we needed parts or help or whatever. So we ended up got everything fixed without needing anything from them, but it was nice to know that they were there if we did. And so that's, you know, boaters are just really great about that. But a special thanks to Classy, the crew of Classy.
I've got to say, it's really interesting. We've been talking off and on the VHF radio for a couple of days with motor vessel Classy, and sound like very, very awesome individuals. They've been helpful for us. They held back when we had to stop to deal with a problem in the engine room. You know, when all's said and done and we get going, we realize it's been an hour, you know, so they waited an extra hour holding back to stay in radio range with us. Super nice of them. Thing of it is, you know, we don't know their names, we don't know what they look like, we don't know how old they are, but we know they're awesome individuals. It's amazing. We love you, boaters.
So we have just begun our crossing across the Gulf of Mexico from Steinhatchee to Carabel. It's 6:50 in the morning, and we just cleared the Steinhatchee channel and have turned towards Carabel. And you see it's 8 hours and 50 minutes before our next turn, and that's not in Carabel, that's just getting close to Carabel. So we're just going to go in a straight line for almost 9 hours. Alright, we finally made it across the Gulf. We are anchored just outside Carabel on the Panhandle side of the Gulf. It took over 11 hours to get across, and but we made it, in part due to the help and guidance from Jim and Cheryl on Classy, which is that boat right over there. And it was pretty uneventful most of the way. We were a little worried because we had a problem first thing this morning pulling off the dock with our port fuel tank. Just, it wasn't getting fuel. It was creating a vacuum. When I flipped over to the starboard fuel tank, the fuel hoses actually jumped because they had released the vacuum and let fuel in there. So I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to figure that one out. And so we crossed the Gulf with one tank and one Raycor, and if anything had happened, it wouldn't have been fun. But nothing happened, and as we got closer, about 2 hours from the anchorage here is when the weather turned south. The wind picked up, started kicking up the seas. We saw some waves hitting us that were between 3 and 4 foot, hitting us kind of on the beam. So it started getting uncomfortable, things started getting thrown around, and I had to go into tacking mode. So back and forth across the line, trying to keep the waves mostly on our bow or on the stern while still making some headway. And so that added some time to us arriving, but we have made it. And this is our first time over on this side of the Gulf. We've never done this before. And so, yeah. All new adventure. Possibly tomorrow or the next day we're going to run into Carabel. We got some mail to pick up there and see if we can anchor and go visit the town. Got hardware stores and different things there in Carabel, so we want to go check it out. So anyway, yeah, just we're really excited that we made it here, although we're really tired, worn out from the long day. And but the adventure begins. Thanks for watching.